So there's a way to figure out if a number is even. If you divide any number by 2 and you get a remainder of 0, then that shows that that number is an even number, right? If you take 4 and divide by 2, you get 2 remainder 0, right? If you divide any number by 2 and you get a remainder of 0. So if you take 6 and you divide by 2, you get 3. 3 remainder 0. If you get a remainder of 0, that proves that the number is an even number. But if you don't get anything other than 0, if you get anything other than 0, right, then that number is an odd number. So if you take 5, for example, and divide by 2, you get a remainder out of it, right? You get a remainder out of it. 2.5, you get a remainder of 0.5. So there's a way to figure out the remainder of a division, right? So over here, let's create another if statement in this block. We're dealing with pockets 1 through 10. So for pockets 1 through 10, if the pockets number divided by 2, so let's surround it with parentheses because we want that to evaluate first. So if the pockets number divided by 2, actually not divided by 2, modulus 2. Modulus 2 actually still does a division, but it doesn't return the answer, the division answer. It returns the remainder. So instead of so let's say if you do 2 divided by 2, that's going to give you 1, right? If you do this, let's say, and assuming pockets number is 2, 2 divided by 2 is going to give you what? 1, right? 1. So this is going to return 1. But if you have a modulo sign, it's still going to do the division, right? 2 divided by 2, but it's not going to return 1. It's going to return the remainder of that division. So instead of returning 1, it's going to return a remainder of 0. So assuming pockets number is 2, so it's going to be 2 divided by 2. But it's not going to return 1 as the answer. It's going to return the remainder, which is 0. 2 divided by 2 gives you 1 remainder 0. All right, so we want to see if the division of pockets number and 2 gives you a remainder of 0 is equivalent to 0. Then that proves that that number is even. And for over here, it says the odd numbered pockets are red and the even numbered pockets are black. All right, so let's do something here. Let's just start. This is also valid, but let's just fulfill the question accordingly. Let's start with the odd numbers. The odd numbered pockets are red. So let's figure out if it's odd. If you divide by 2 and you don't get 0, right, then it's an odd number. So let's instead of this being equal to 0, let's say not equal to. So exclamation equal to, which means not equal to. Okay, the exclamation equal to means not equal to. So if you divide by 2 and you don't get a remainder of 0, then that shows that number is odd. Okay, so over here it says the odd numbered pockets are red. So in that case, let's go ahead and return red as a string, like that. Else, all right, you can go ahead and have an else if and specify explicitly that else if the pockets number modulus 2 is equal to 0, right? Actually, let's do that. Else if the pockets number modulus 2 gives you a remainder of exactly 0, right? You can do that too. Then let's go ahead and return. Sorry about that. Let's go ahead and return, because over here it says the odd numbered pockets are red and the even numbered pockets are black. Let's go ahead and return black because that number is even. And this is for pockets 1 through 10. Odd numbers pockets are red, odd, and then even numbered pockets are black, right? Now this is just for pockets 1 to 10. Now, if that number is not from 1 to 10, right? If that number is not from 1 to 10, it's not less than 11, which is from basically 1 to 10, because this has been ruled out. If it's not less than 1, then that means it's 1 or above. For all the numbers 1 or above, we want the ones less than 11, which means 1 to 10. So if that number is not less than 11, then we're dealing with 11 or above, okay? And for all the numbers 11 or above, we want the ones less than 19. For all the numbers 11 or above, we want the ones less than 19. So 11 or above, 11, less than 19, we are dealing with 11 to 18. Okay, so else if, actually we can go ahead and we can copy it, but let's just go ahead and do that. So else if the pockets number over here or see if the pockets number is less than 19. All right, so this gives us a range from 11 to 18, right? 11 to 18, which is what we have here. So in that case, the odd numbered pockets are black and the even numbered pockets are red. So we can have the same idea here, copy it and paste it here. And it says the odd for 11 through 18, the odd numbered pockets are black, right? So this is what we have for odd. Change it to black. And this is what we have for well, instead of having a return, you can also create a variable and then store the color in there. And after you're done with everything, you return the color. But this also works. This also works. Okay. So it said over here, the odd numbered pockets are black. We've done that. And then the even numbered pockets are red. So this is even red. All right. So we can go ahead and actually copy this whole exact thing. But then let's think through it from here. All right, so if the number is not less than 19, okay, if that pocket's number is not less than 19, then that means it's 19 or above. And we don't want the odd numbers 19 or above. We want the odd numbers 19 or above, but at the same time less than 29, because 19 or above and less than 29, okay, gives you 19 to 28. So for all the numbers, if it's not less than 19, then it's 19 or above. So for all the numbers 19 or above, we want the ones less than 29, right? So else if, let's go ahead and copy this whole thing here. So else if the pockets number is less than 29, the odd numbered pockets are red. So odd here, change it to red. And the even numbered pockets are black. Just change it to black. And then one more. Sorry, a couple more. So for pockets, so if the number is not less than 29, then if it's not less than 29, then it's 29 or above. We don't want all the numbers 29 or above. We want the numbers 29 or above, but at the same time less than 37. Okay, less than 37. So let's go ahead and paste it again. So if the pockets number is less than 37 here, right, which gives us a range. If it's not less than 29 here, then it's 29 or above. So if it's not less than 29, then yeah, that means it's 29 or above. So 29 or above, we want the ones also less than 37, which is 29 to 36. In that case, the odd numbered pockets are black. Okay, so we have it here already. Odd numbered pockets are black, and the even numbered pockets are red. Okay, we have it here too. We have it there already. Okay, so this is what we have so far for get pocket color. It's going to return a color no matter what happens. All right, so again, we're going to restrict the user to type in only numbers from 0 to 36. Okay, so we don't have to worry about anything else outside of this range. Whatever the user types is going to be one of these numbers from 0 to 36. Because in the main program, you're going to restrict the user not to type in anything less than 0 or greater than 36. All right, so now we have our constructor, we have our get pocket color, we have our field here. We should be good with the class for now. So let's go ahead and save it. That's the previous program. So let's go ahead and create a folder called Roulette Pocket. And then I'm going to save this as Roulette Pocket.java. All right, we have a couple of errors, so let's fix it. All right, so illegal start of expression. Let's see if we made any errors here. Else if the pocket number, okay, so else if the pocket number is all right, so I think let's see. We forgot parentheses here somewhere. It has to be all in the parentheses of the if statement. So else if, let's have one here. Pockets number. Okay, so close it here like that. We probably need to do the same thing for all of them. All right, so over here too. So this here, this closing parentheses, it's opening parentheses is this one here, and then this parentheses covers this right? And then it's checking this in the if. Sorry, it's checking this in the if condition here like that, and then we have the two parentheses for the if statement. So compile that, and then we have the same thing here. Let's fix it. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, we have the same thing. We have the same thing here. So let's go ahead and fix that too. All right. So compile that, and then missing return statement. Okay. So so basically all these are conditions, right? All these are conditions. It says missing return statements. All these are conditions. This is going to return something only if this is true. Return something only if something is true. It's possible that none of these will be true. It's very possible that none of these will be true. Okay, it's possible that none of these. So in that case, it wouldn't know what to return. So if none of this is true, right, then let's go ahead and return something else. Let's go ahead and return out of range or something. Out of range, okay. Or let's say number is well, again, we're going to restrict the program, right? Not to allow. So we're going to restrict the program and let the program only allow the user to type in numbers within the range of 0 to 36 inclusive. But let's say if something happens and we forget to do that, if the user types in anything outside the range of 0 to 36, then none of these are going to be true. So in that case, it should return number out of range. We can even say we can just type in number out of range, or we can use a value of what's stored in pockets number, but we can just say simply number is out of range. So if none of this is true, then it's going to return this. So no matter what, it's going to have a return statement. So let's compile this, and then now we're fine. All right, now let's go ahead and create the main program that's going to use this class. All right, so I'm going to create another file, a Java file that's going to use this class, and I'm going to save them in the same folder. As long as they're in the same folder, they should be able to find each other. If you save them somewhere else, again, then the program you're about to create, okay, in this program, you have to go ahead and specify where the class is. You have to type in the path of where the class is. Otherwise, it wouldn't know where the class is, and it's going to have problems. But if you save them in the same folder, they should be able to, find each other. You don't have to type in any path. They should, they're in the same folder. They should be able to see each other or work with each other. So let's go ahead and create a class for this one, and let's call it Roulette Pocket Test. Let's create the main method. All right, so let's see what we have to do. Let's go ahead and make a copy of this question so we can see here too. Okay, so what we are done with this part. Over here it says demonstrates the class in a program that asks the user to enter a pocket number. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and ask the user to enter a pocket number, right? Since we're going to be asking the user to type, for input, we have to use one of Java's features for accepting user input. Okay, now you can choose to use, let's say, the scanner class or the JOption pane. For this one, I'm going to choose to use the scanner class, right? So to import the scanner class, to use the scanner class, you have to import it because it's not available to the program. You have to import it so the program has access to it. So we're going to go ahead and import the scanner class with the import java.util.scanner. We are importing the scanner class found in the java.util package, which is in the Java API, right? Sorry, which is in the Java API, right? Yes. Okay, so once you import the scanner class, we have to go ahead and create an object, a scanner object. So we can use that scanner object to accept input and basically perform some operations. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm creating a class type variable. I'm going to call it, well, let's call it keyboard, right? Let's call it keyboard. In all my programs, I've called it scanner, right? But keyboard actually makes sense. It makes sense to actually call it keyboard. I've called it scanner in all my programs. I think this is the first time I'm actually using keyboard. So, because it makes sense to actually call it keyboard. All right, so I'm defining a class type variable called keyboard, right? And again, I'm calling it keyboard because we are accepting input from the keyboard. I'm using it to represent the source the source of input, where I'm actually accepting input from. That's why I'm calling this keyboard. So it makes sense, right? If you're getting input from a file, you can call it file. So it makes sense to do that. But I've been calling it scanner all the time. Keyboard is scanner, you can think of it that way. But the class is scanner too. I mean, it all makes sense. But keyboard, I'm going to actually call it keyboard from now onwards. All right, so I'm creating a class type variable called keyboard of type scanner, right? So basically, I'm creating a scanner. I'm calling it keyboard. Now, this is equivalent to, it's the same as trying to create a variable, let's say int, and calling it number. Int is the type, and then number is the name of the variable. You can think of this as a type and think of this as the name of the variable. But when you try to create this kind of variable or this kind of variable, Java is going to realize that scanner is not part of the primitive data types, right? It's going to say, oh, this is not an int, this is not a double, this is not a character. So it's going to try to look in the folder to see if it can find this kind of class. And yes, because I saved it in the same folder, it's going to find this roulette pocket class. If not, if you provided a path where the class is, it's going to look in that path to see if that class exists. So if it finds this class, it's going to say, okay, you are trying to create a variable, okay, that is going to hold a reference to a scanner object. So it's going to say, okay, I'm going to reserve this variable to hold the reference of a scanner object, right? So now let's go ahead and create a scanner object. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new scanner object in memory, right? Now the scanner constructor accepts the source where you are reading input from, right? So I'm going to go ahead and pass in system.in, which represents the keyboard. Okay, it represents the keyboard, and it's going to accept in byte info from the keyboard, or from the user. Okay, and then now it's going to, this equal sign is going to go ahead and return the memory address of that object that it has created and return it to keyboard. So now keyboard is going to hold the memory address of this object. It's going to reference that object. That's why I called it keyboard. I called it keyboard because the system.in is the source, which is the keyboard. Source is the keyboard, and that's why I called it keyboard. So when we say keyboard, when we use keyboard, we will know that we are accepting input from the keyboard. When we call it file, we'll know we're accepting input from the file or something. It makes much more sense. All right, so now let's go ahead and ask the user to enter a pocket number. Okay, so let's do that. So let's use a regular system.out.print statement. So system.out.println, and then let's ask a user to do that. Let's say, please enter a number in the range of 0 to 36. All right, now let's go ahead and accept the input. So I'm going to call keyboard.nextInt. Right, this keyboard.nextInt is going to basically pop up some kind of text box, right, and allow the user to type in something. And whatever the user types, okay, is going to be stored in what's called the keyboard buffer. And then the next int method is going to pull the next integer in the keyboard buffer and return it. Okay, it's going to go ahead and return. So it's going to pull whatever the user typed from the keyboard buffer, which is converted to an integer, right? It's going to return it. And when it returns it, we need a place to store it, right? So I'm going to go ahead and create a variable that's going to store the input, which is going to be, I'm going to call this user pockets number, which is not defined, it's not declared yet. So I'm going to come up here and declare it as an integer, right? Because this is going to return an integer. It's going to expect the user to type in an integer, right? So I'm going to go ahead and create a variable, an integer variable that's going to hold that that number, which is going to be the user pocket number. So int user pocket number. So now we'll have the user's pocket number. Over here it says demonstrate the class in the program that asks the user to enter the pocket number, and then displays whether the pocket number is green, red, or black, right? So now let's go ahead and we have to go ahead and create a roulette pocket object so we can pass in the color. Okay, we can pass in the color. Sorry, the number. Okay, the number of the pocket. So to create a roulette object is similar to creating a scanner object. So we use the name of the class roulette pocket. Let's call this first pocket or something. Let's call this first pocket. So this variable first pocket is going to reference a roulette pocket object. Now let's go ahead and create a roulette pocket object in memory. The way we define the constructor in the roulette pocket class is to accept in a pocket number given. And the pocket number has been given here by the user. So let's go ahead and pass in that variable here as a pocket number given. So now this first pocket has a number that the user has typed, right? And then now we can go ahead and call the method get pocket color, right? Which is going to return the pocket color based on the number the user typed, right? So let's go ahead and do that. So get pocket color. Well, we have to print it, right? Before that, let's finish this. I was supposed to actually validate this, but let have an input validation here, but we'll come back to that in a second. So once we have the number actually stored in the field of that particular object, let's go ahead and have a system.out.print statement, println statement. That's going to print out the color. Now let's have a string with it and say, let's say the color is, the color. We could have created accesses, more accesses here, so we can get the color of the pocket number, but it's fine. We could have done that, but just for the purpose of this program, let's go ahead and do what is required, right? That's not really necessary unless it's you want to do that. Okay, so let's just have a string and say the color is, and then let's go ahead and concatenate it to the color. Okay, because get pocket color is going to go ahead and return whatever color it is, or a message. So in this case, if the color is not so if the number is not one of these, it's not in one of it's not one of the numbers 0 to 36, it's going to return number is out of range. In that case, it's going to say the color is number is out of range, but we don't really want that. We can have an if statement, right, that says if the color is not, if the return value, okay, or if get pocket color, okay, is equal to either red, basically any of the colors, it's equal to either red, black, or red. Or it's either red or black. So sorry, if the get pocket color returns either red or black, then go ahead and display the color as get the color, right? But if it's not red or black, then let's go ahead and display a message saying saying whatever it is, right? We can do that. Actually, let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so over here it says the color is this, right? So let's have an if statement, because we can have the number won't be out of range. When you think about it, the number won't be out of range because we're going to restrict the user to type in the number 0 to 36. So it depends on you if you want to do that. But for now, we'll come back to that. Let's just work on the app validation. All right, so we get the number from the user. Let's check to see if that number is in range. Over here it said that. Okay, so after you've demonstrate the class in the program that asks the user to enter a pocket number and displays whether the pocket is green, red. Actually, there are 3 numbers. Is green, red, or black? Was there green here somewhere? I never saw green. Black, red, black, red. I never saw green. But over here it said and displays whether the pocket is green, red, or black. Right? I never saw green. I never saw green in any of this. If it says green, modify it in the class. Okay, I don't know if your question says green, modify it. Actually, I have the question here. It didn't say green anywhere. We're only using. Oh, actually, sorry. I'm so sorry. Green is right here. It's right in my face. Oh my goodness, this happens to me all the time. All right, we'll come back to all these programs later on, but right now we're here. Green is right here. Oh, see, I'm looking at all of this. In the question itself, I didn't see it. Oh my goodness, Kakra. All right, so, and it's funny, I actually wrote it here. And all right, so we're going to either get red, black, or green. All right, yeah, this happens all the time. Okay, so let's check to see if the number is in range. Over here it says, demonstrate a class in a program that asks the user to enter a pocket number and displays whether the pocket is green, red, or black, right? The program should display an error message if the user enters a number that is outside the range of 0 through 36. So if it's outside, if it's less than 0, or if it's greater than 36, we have to display a message. So let's go ahead and say while. Let's create a while loop here. When the user types in the user pocket number, let's say while the user pocket number. Okay, first let's check to see if it's less than 0. So while the user pocket number is less than 0, okay, and then let's have an or statement. Okay, if any of them is true, or means if any of them is true, display an error message. So if while the user pocket number is less than 0, or the user pocket number is greater than 36, right? That's the range. If any of this is true, then let's display a message, another customized message right now. Let's just display another customized message and say let's say you are too stubborn. Say you are too stubborn. Right? Please enter a number in the range of 0 to 36. Okay. No, I'm kidding. All right, just this is fine. You are too stubborn is fine. I don't want to be too harsh on the user, right? Let's just put a smiley face here, just so they don't get mad. You are too stubborn. Please enter a number in the range of 0 to 36, right? And then we're going to accept it again here. Then we'll have the value here, and then we'll check it again. So it's going to check as long as it's within that range. It's going to keep asking the user to do that. Else, this loop is going to exit out of this loop. The program is going to exit out of this loop and continue down. And then we're done with that. So over here, because we can get a message like, let's say, well, actually, the way we've had the validation now, that the program is not going to allow the user to type in 1 to 36, right? So it doesn't matter. So no matter what happens, we're going to get a valid color. This statement is actually not going to work unless we didn't have input validation and the user typed in something in the range, something outside of this range, outside of the range of the question. But the way we designed it, the user is going to type in anything from 0 to 36 only. So we're always going to get a valid color. This statement, it's never going to return this, all right? But this is just there as a safe, a safe, value, a safe value to be returned. I think we're done. Let's go ahead and compile this, and then save this in the same program. Sorry, in the same folder where the class is. All right, so save it. We have a couple of errors. Let's fix it. Cannot find symbol. Get pocket color. How did I name that method? I named it as get pocket color. Let's see how I named it. I call it here get pocket color. Okay, so over here I'm just calling the method by itself, okay, because the method is not defined here. That method, is applied to an object, so I need to apply it to this object. So the color is first. It wants to know where it should get the pocket color from. And since I created an object here, I need to use that and say, get the pocket color from first pocket. Okay, in other words, take to basically return the pocket color of first pocket, right? That's basically what it's saying now. So now it knows what it is. When I compile it, it shouldn't have any problem. Okay, we're done. Now let's run it and see what happens. Please enter a number in the range of 0 to 36. So let's enter -1. And hit enter. And it says you are too stubborn. Please enter a number in the range of 0 to 36. Let's type in -6. It still says the same thing. Let's type in 37. Something outside the range of 36. So if the user enters a number that is outside the range of 0 to 36. Oh, sorry. The program should display an error message. Okay, if the user enters a number that is outside the range of 0 through 36. All right, so now this is not working. Less than 0. Let's type in 37. Still not allowing us. Let's type in 89. Still not allowing us. But as soon as we type in something, a valid color, let's type in, let's say 5. Hit enter. Now it says the color is red. Let's confirm and see. 5 is between 1 through 10, right? So 1 through 10, that's good. And 5 is an odd number, right? So the odd numbered pockets are red, so we can see it's correct. Let's try another value again. Type in, I don't know, 23, hit enter, the color is red. Let's see if it's true. 23 is in the range of 19 to 28, right? 23 is an odd number, so the odd numbered pockets are red, so that's correct. Let's try 0 because it said 0 is green, right? So let's do that. Try 0. Now see the color is green, so we know that's working. Let's try 36. Actually, let's try 35. 35. The color is black. So 35 is in the range of 29 to 36, right? And 35 is an odd number. The odd numbered pockets are black. So we can see this is working. But we are using the class to make it work. We have our class here. We have our class here. And then we have our main program here. Okay, all right, so we're done. If you have any questions, please comment down below and I'll do everything to respond to them. Thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourselves as always. And I'll see you next time with the next program. All right then, bye-bye.